"Kid, how long you been here?" This old man says to me. I said, "I moved here 32 years ago, maybe 33. He sadly shook his head, said, "Let me make one thing clear. You haven't lived here long enough to really be from here." "Remember when this place was Chico's Bar and Bungalow?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "Well, there you go. When they threw me a retirement party, that was where it was. And the reason that I took the time to tell you is because back before that, this was another place called Barbara's Box of Blues. But first it was a joint, Del Rio Leo's Barbecue. My friends and I would all sneak in the back door after school. And that's the way it was back then, when this town was cool. You missed all the good times and the good days have all passed by. Man, I don't even recognize this town. You missed all the good stuff. It was good before you showed up. This town was cool before you came around." Well, just about that time, this other old gray man sat down. He took out his hearing aid, and it made this squealing sound. And he said, "Kid, you must have found this feller over in the Lost and Found. He hasn't been here long enough to know his way around." And he told him, "Man, you got it wrong. Del Rio Leo's was uptown. Back then, this was a cowboy bar called 6 Feet Underground. During Prohibition, it was in a cellar out and back. But first, this was the Thirsty Mule on that side of the tracks. There used to be a lot of fights, and the cops were mean as hell. But pretty girls were everywhere. Man, that place was swell. I lost $500 in there one time just playing pool. And that's the way it was back then, when this town was cool." That's about the time that I was getting up to go, when this third old timer stumbles up and he says, "No, no, no. The Thirsty Mule was gone by then. You're thinking of Drunky McGee's. Ought to know. The dude you lost $500 to was me." Now, Drunky was a lawyer and an undertaker too. He'd get you hammered, nailed, thrown in jail, and then embalm you when you're through. Drunky McGee's burned down, you know, but I can't recall the year. It used to be a bank, but before that, none of this stuff was here. There was this big old oak tree where the river curved around before the man who built the bank came here and cut it down. We'd never even seen a car, a buggy, or a mule. Before they built the store, the bank, the courthouse, or the school, the buffalo would come down and sip water from the pool. Nobody walked around here making up some stupid rules. Back before two morons would shoot each other in a duel. Before sushi, before tofu, before gravy, grits, or gruel. And I never dreamed I'd meet this bunch of lazy, crazy fools. And that's the way it was back then, when this town was cool. Yeah. You missed all the good times and the good days have all passed by. Man, I don't even recognize this town. You missed all the good stuff. It was good before you showed up. This town was cool before you came around. This town was cool before you came around.